Hey everyone, we're going to spend some time here talking about different aspects of developing off-leash reliability. And for those of you who kind of are following this journey or going through the course that I'm organizing little by little, one of the big pieces early on is pillar 3, which is what I call front-loading the finishers. And so we're going to take a few minutes here to talk about it, and then you're going to see a video, sort of a number of different little training videos all added in together to show you sort of the process. Okay. Um, so hopefully this helps. Again, front loading the finishers. All right. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is, what do I mean when I say finishers, right? So the idea of a quote unquote finisher, the way I look at it, is giving your dog a quick task to complete as they are running back to you, and they're essentially almost in your presence, basically. So let's say your dog's out 50 yards somewhere up in the mountains, or wherever. Maybe you're at a big field somewhere, whatever, and you've practiced all this stuff leading up to this, right? And you call your dog back, and as they're running back, when they're about maybe 10 feet, 15 feet away, you're going to yell out a command, which would be the finisher in this context. And you're wanting your dog to essentially finish the job of running all the way back to you. And part of what helps them do that is when you have a task that they need to finish. And that's why I like to call finishers. So imagine your dog's 15 feet away as they're running back, and you say, touch, and you kind of throw out your hand and let the dog touch their nose on your palm. That's an example of a finishing task. So that's what we're kind of looking at. And in the videos, you'll see I focus on a few. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we're trying to give them a task to finish the job, to help them finish the job of running back to you. The second thing I wanted to mention here, worth noting, is it's the importance of scaffolding each skill throughout off-leash reliability development, but even specifically in the context of developing these finishers. So you want to spend some time scaffolding properly, which we'll talk about, rehearsing for fluency and sort of muscle memory, and then taking that skill that was developed and bridging it to real-life scenarios that you're trying to create and mimic, right? So we'll talk about scaffolding, but you can't, again, I said it before, but if your dog can't add and subtract, you shouldn't be asking them to divide and multiply. All right. A little thing that I would suggest is that you focus on developing just 2 or 3 finishers initially. So you're not overwhelming your dog, keep it really straightforward, help them succeed, and be very focused on 2 or 3. Another little thing I would suggest for you is that you're aiming for 90 to 100% efficiency success rate. And this is possible with proper scaffolding and making adjustments along the way as you scaffold appropriately. So you'll know that your scaffolding is terrible if your success rate is terrible, right? If your dog is failing 7 out of 10 times on the different tasks you're asking them to do, then that means your scaffolding is way ahead of schedule and you're not quite where you should be, taking some steps backwards and regrouping. And so my suggestion is you want the dog to feel good about what they're doing, but you also want to have these moments where you're kind of redirecting them and correcting their energy, or like guiding them into better decisions. So they need the failure and they need the successes. So don't aim for perfection necessarily, but just don't let them fail too much. Like, nobody likes to fail at everything, right? So you have to scaffold appropriately as your dog's guidance. You're going to be guiding them through this training. Scaffold appropriately so that the success rate is high. So I'm going to add, you'll see a video here at the end of this presentation, and there are some things in the video I wanted you to take note of and just be aware of. So what you're going to see in the video is the following. You'll see some various or some different recorded sessions, some different locations and different distraction levels where we're working on these finishers. You'll see the 3 main finishers that I'm working on are touch, through, and sit, which was obviously the easier one for him. So I address it in smaller doses. But you'll also see me working on a bit of chasing and targeting, where you'll see Rip, my blue heeler, chasing after my palm that I have a piece of kibble in. And you'll see how I'm doing that. He kind of chases it back and forth. And that also can help with some positioning stuff with the through, but also just in general creates a fun moment for him. I believe the term reward event came from a trainer named Michael Ellis, and maybe he heard it from somebody else. But instead of just giving a straight up reward, we're giving him a moment, a fun, exciting kind of engagement for like 5 seconds or so, creating that reward event. So that's kind of like a finisher. So that's why I listed it here. But it's also just a reward event as well. You're also going to notice careful scaffolds throughout. You'll see me adjusting on the spot according to what rip my blue heeler is offering. And you'll see me make mistakes and then modify it the next round. Like there's no perfection in any of this. I'm just having fun out there with my dog. And sometimes I'm like, man, I should have done that differently. And so you'll see that, right? You'll see an example of that is like when he was struggling to follow the lure into the through position, I started making adjustments accordingly. And Rip is a super high drive food dog. Like he loves food. He has a high food drive is what I'm trying to say. And so if he's not following food into a lure position, a different position, then he must have some skepticism or concerns about it. And so I had to adjust what I was doing to make it work better for him and help him feel more successful. You'll see that as an example. You're also going to see I'm working towards a high success rate, like I mentioned, because I want him to feel like he's doing well. And when he does make a mistake, it's not like a big problem. I just kind of redirect the situation and move forward. You know, I need him to fail so that we can change it. I need him to fail so we can learn. But I need him to win most of the time. All right. And then the last thing you're going to see is that I'm just doing, in these contexts, I'm doing multiple reps to develop muscle memory. I need it to be sort of second nature to him. Okay. A quick example of scaffolding. I would suggest that you pause the video and then actually read through these, but I'm going to kind of fly through them. No, I'm just going to have you pause it and read through it. Scaffolding is just so important. Like start from the ground up if you need to. And you'll see it throughout the videos in different ways. But the whole idea is to get from point A to point like G, you know, and how do you get there? Well, you take your time, you don't rush it. You work on what your dog is offering and what you're capable of, and then keep improving along the way. So go ahead and pause the video and look at the different scaffold examples here with the touch command. All right, you should have paused that and read over that. Again, the general flow of scaffolding is just ground up, step by step, little by little, adding these different aspects that make it a little more complicated and, you know, those kinds of things. All right. Another scaffolding example with like through, I guess I would encourage you to just think about if you were teaching your dog the through command, how would you scaffold it? Where would you begin? And I would just encourage you to think about that. I'm not actually going to even tell you. You'll see it in the video how I kind of do it. But yeah, go ahead and pause this real quick and think about if you were to use the through finisher, how would you go about it? All right. And then this, the last thing, and I would say most importantly, and I say this to a lot of my clients and myself, I have to remind myself of this. More important than any kind of training, if your heart's in it and your spirit is wanting your dog to succeed, then you need to allow some sort of grace and just some acceptance of the fact that you are definitely going to screw something up in your training, and your dog's going to make tons of mistakes as well. We all do. You'll see me make mistakes in the video with Rip. Just give yourself that space to make those mistakes. I think it's really, really important. Otherwise, you're going to feel like you can never get through it. So I just want to encourage you with that. Give yourself some grace when you mess up. All right. And yep, thanks for watching this. You'll see after this little slide presentation, you're going to see pretty in-depth video of what I'm doing. And I hope it really, really helps you. I'm building up the touch command, the through command, and the sit command in the context of recalls. And you'll see me scaffolded in different ways. You'll see me adjust. You'll see me add distance. You'll see me add movement. You'll see me add difficulty level. You'll see there's different distractions, all within the context of helping him learn how, when he comes back to me, there's a job to do. to finish his task of the recall. Okay, there's a task to complete so that he can finish his recall, if that makes sense. So it's a finisher to help him finish the recall. All right, hope that makes sense. And I don't know, this is just for fun, but here are our dogs. If you don't know me, you may not know our dogs, but up here in the top left, we've got Rip, our blue heeler. Below that, we've got Nova. She's our German Shepherd. She's an amazing dog. This is our little Chihuahua mix named Ruby. She's super fun. And then here's our guy, Mickey, and we call him his nickname, which is Mick Jabber. And if you want to know why, you can just reach out. I'll tell you. But he's a cool dog. All four of these are awesome, and they all have different challenges that have helped me become a dog trainer in many different ways, and they help me with my clients' dogs because they're not robots. You know, even though I'm a trainer, my dogs have challenges that I have to work through with them, and they all have different backstories, and just doing our best, right? So if you're looking for a perfect trainer, it's not me. If you're looking for dogs that are robotic and perfect and they do everything you ask them to instantly, those are not my dogs. My dogs are, you know, uh, incredible, but they learn, and there's an ebb and flow, and they make mistakes, and yada yada yada. So you know what I mean. If you need to look at this is me, John Tomasoni. I'm the trainer with Confetti Dogs and the founder of the company. And April, my wife, is our director of operations and helps me keep afloat. And yep. And if you need to reach out, there's our contact info. Okay. All right. Good luck, guys. Watch the video all the way through. I try to put a lot of footage in there, and you've got to decide how many reps you need. But these were recorded over multiple days at different times. And I would have, when I would get one of my sons to record me and, all that kind of stuff. All right. Love you all. Enjoy the process. Always feel free to reach out if you have any questions. See ya.